I don't know if that's tactical, but Hamill is racing off the ground as if he almost forgot that he was required to sit on the bench, or if he wasn't exactly sure what position he was going in.
Start of the second half. 22 points is the margin in favour of Carlton. The Blues led by 28 at quarter time. The Tigers have come back well. Porter up high. Bond. Bradley's tag. Hogg tackles him. Kick up towards Gale. Good mark at half back. Or half forward. It's been good today, Benny Gale. Very mobile. He's done well at the throw-ins and at the bounces. Richardson the target. Nearly. Silvani at the last minute. Porter slung. Ratton. Leading kick getter on the ground still. Over the top, Milhana, nearly the mark. It's out of bounds. I think a little note of apology there to his teammate, whom he may have spoiled. Kicked the goal with his first kick today, Milhana, when he came off the bench. A late replacement for Sexton. Porter and Gale. Oh, Gale easily. A little gift to Campbell. Ineffective as it turned out. And the umpire will bounce it.
Richmond have come out confidently again. They're applying plenty of pressure. They look fairly focused and pretty intense. And I think it will make a big difference to the result of this game, the way Richmond is starting off now.
Calf and or ankle.
Musky muscle.
Steve Kernahan. Thanks, Robbo. Dr. Robertson. Bowden.
Well, it's not his ankle.
Past Manton.
A high ankle on his leg if it is.
Well, they started at the bottom, like everybody else.
Achilles tendon, I reckon.
Okay. Well, he's not pregnant anyway.
Well, there's a line there, but I won't use it.
Thanks, Harry. Porter and Gale. Quick kick comes out of the pack. McKay, is that the required distance from mark? The umpire says, OK, we'll pay that. Gets it across to Dean. Peter Dean, centre half back for the Blues. Oh, gee whiz, he kicked that. That's really makes it a foot race. A contest out there. Rice, who was very good in the first quarter on the Hickmott.
Oh, Hickmott's kick is well weighted too. I think he spotted Whitnall just out to the right. Just went a little awkwardly through the air. Whitnall's kick towards full forward, but well marked back there by young Benny Holland. Gets away to Broderick. Broderick swings onto his left side, then kicks it very wide in the McKay direction. Couldn't take the mark. Matthew Knight's just sweating on him. Matthew Knight's around Hannah. Kicks into the half-forward area. Punched away from Powell by D'Ulio. And the ball just rolls ever so gently over for a boundary throw.
Richmond are really playing to the boundary, and I think that's their undoing. When they've centred the ball more often, it's really worked better for them, and they need to really concentrate on that this quarter.
Porter and Brendan Gale kicked out of there by Milhana, back towards the centre. Rogers handball, gathered by Daffy, in turn by Campbell. Campbell's kick will be marked. No, not by Dean. Kick forward by Moore, not really all that effectively. Rice across his left shoulder, close to the line. Hannah, Knights, McKay, Hickmott. Chance now for Hickmott, down the line in the direction of Pearce and Callaway. Callaway does nicely to Rogers. Rogers, a long kick to half forward. The ball spills to the front. The recovery by Porter, very good. Across to Peter Dean. Dean on the right foot, the little kick. Ratton couldn't take the mark. Some mistakes creeping in. Dean desperate. Chases after the football. It's at centre half forward for the Blues. Still a struggle for possession. Ratton goes in and locks it up for Carlton. Duncan Callaway underneath there.
Pearce limping off.
And the umpire to bounce. Anstey on the field now for Carlton.
Two bad kicks then by Dean. Didn't do his side too much good.
I think he might have almost hurt himself too in the follow-up. He realised he'd made that first error, really pushed hard to get to the ball, and I think he might have hurt his head jumping into the pack.
He's got a pretty hard head though, hasn't he?
That's for sure.
So Anstey, as Robbo said, onto the ground to replace Pearce, who limped off. So a few injury worries for the Blues at the moment. It's at their centre half forward position. Holland, Hume onto his left. Bounce is going to be effective. Let's not forget that it is still raining lightly and a few mistakes creeping in. Anstey first touch. Gasper looks for a teammate, finds Michael Gale. Gale around the boundary line. Bowden in front. Caught Manton. That's a great tackle, but not rewarded by the umpire.
Well, we're 4 minutes in. We're 4 minutes into the quarter already, and certainly Richmond are applying the pressure, and they've put up their hands and said, "Look, we're going to make this a contest," and they certainly have. The Blues led it a goal early to take control, and the same with Richmond, but it's equal at this stage.
Hickmott again, across the body. Porter in front, Holland behind, punches. Whitnell slung, Mackay. Now Bradley, who's been really quiet today. What can he do with this? Camporelli, gutsy mark. Taken in front of Ross Funky. He was magnificent in the first quarter, Camporelli. He had 5 kicks. He's now had 8, and that was his 5th mark.
Really putting his body in here, and he knew the Richmond fellow was going to come over the top and make it hard for him, and he certainly used his body well. He loves these long kicks, Camporelli. He loves these long kicks, and he fancies himself out on the 50-metre line, and I think he'll give it a good show.
Good news for Carlton. Hamill back onto the ground. He comes in from 50. It's coming around. He's got it. Great kick.
He loves those.
Well, that was his first goal, and Carlton's 11th, and that was the one they wanted to start the third quarter.
And here we are, Camporelli using his nous, I suppose. You see him very shortly. He gets the ball, turns his body because he knows Richmond are going to clobber him, and finishes off beautifully.
Pearce's left leg being attended to by the medical staff. We're anxiously watching that, Russell.
Certainly right, Robbo. Brad Pearce had to having a look at his left knee because I think he jarred it about 5 minutes ago prior to that Camporelli kick. So Richmond under the pressure on the scoreboard, but Carlton under pressure on the bench.
Oh, well done by Whitnell to Camporelli. Camporelli to Koutafidis, keeps it in front of himself, then knocks it clear for Camporelli again. Taken away there by Bullis into the path of Michael Gale. Michael Gale's kick to half forward, punched away from Harrison by Hannah. But in his endeavours to do that, he gave away the free kick, and Harrison sweeps on it, kicks it to half forward, punched away. The ball spills now for Bradley. Bradley bombs it back. Unfortunately for the Blues, Whitnell was on his own, couldn't take the mark. Michael Gale, they're going to get a goal here, surely. Hume goes in and misses everything. Could have set it up, could have gone anywhere, Darren Hume. And a very dejected looking Darren Hume there. That snapshot bouncing against the behind post for a boundary throw-in.
Yes, I think he appreciated the fact that he could have made a name for himself there. Could have tidied up the game for the Blues.
Right forward pocket for Carlton. Ratton got his foot to it. Matthew Hogg and Wayne Campbell. It's rushed through for a behind to Carlton.
Let's not forget though, Robbo, that it is raining, so we've got to make allowances.
Kick in has been marked by Broderick.
Broderick, pinpoint accuracy with his left foot, for which he's famous. Knights won't be too happy about that effort, and Mackay, who's got him. Umpire lets it go.
Against Dean.
Holding the man decision.
It's against Dean. He was too
reckless, I suppose. It was a reckless tackle. Undisciplined, but he's a desperate player, and that's probably what he's trying to achieve.
To Rogers.
Michael Gale off the ground.
And that's all tied up. Good tackle. Manton.
Miranda on to replace Michael Gale. Peter.
Well, once again, Richmond are, playing wide, and at the end of the day, you've just got to work twice as hard to get goals if you're going the long way around, and I think that's going to pay for Carlton at the end of the day. That Richmond have to work harder.
11-6 to 6-7. Left half forward for Richmond. Or Diulio. Well, he made out that he got one high. I don't know that it was all that bad.
Yes, it's a beautiful bit of theatre there from Ronnie Diulio, I think. If you can do it quickly enough, it always convinces the umpires.
Rise in front, punch away by Bowden. Ratton, kick number 14, beautifully delivered too. On the end of it is Hickmott. The Blues going the long way home here. Still the rain falls, getting a little bit heavier. Hume, good shepherd by Hamill. Missed the goal before, won't kick one with that kick. Good mark home.
That boy knows how to get the ball, Justin, Darren Hume. He just needs to grow in confidence, maybe.
I think so. I think he's probably struggling with the pace of the senior style footy. I think his timing in regards to his delivery. He feels under pressure. He's just got to steady down a bit and use the ball like he did on that occasion.
Matty Hogg for his second. One of the veterans on the Carlton side now, and you mind me saying that. He's not going to have a shot. Goes in short, and he's found the big fella, Porter.
Yeah, Hoggy's not a long kick. He does love a shot for goal, so that's probably quite a team sacrifice for him to chip it off that way. But he's chipped it to Porter, and Porter's got an ungainly kicking style, so you can never be too sure.
45 metres out. Well, the style wasn't there, but the accuracy was. He's got the goal. You taught him to kick, Harry, did you?
Absolutely. Protege, I like to refer to him as. Because he's delivered the ball through the goals very well. And nice chip kick from Matthew Hogg.
Jason Tawney on for Richmond.
Very handy for Ruckman to kick a couple of goals, put the opposition under pressure on that occasion.
Well, a real stamp of authority by Porter, getting his second goal. Chance for Campbell, he's got it. Going to be penalised. Well done, Porter.
He's looking good, Ports. He's looking confident. It always helps for Ruckman to kick a couple of goals because, at the end of the day, they put those next to the other stats and you normally shape up pretty well. So he's looking pretty good.
Ratton to half forward. Hickmott just brushes the tackle, waits the kick. Well done, Allen. Down to McKay. Little kick off the ground. Chopped off by Gaspar. Tackled by Hamill. Kick forward by Matthew Allen. It'll be marked for Richmond by Callaway. Not paid. May have been touched off the boot. Gee whiz. That wasn't very well disguised, Joel Bowden, but you got away with it. And the umpire will throw it in.
Aaron Hamill's tackle on that occasion really kicked the ball into the Blues. Richmond seemed to have it, and going out of their back line. So it was great for Carlton to see him tackle so well.
In the right forward pocket for the Blues, trying to come away with it there was Ross Funky, and Bond and Bradley see it over for a boundary throw-in. Very, very handy lead now to Carlton. 78 plays 43. The ground is a little breezy from the slight rain that has fallen since about mid-second term. And of course the players do get tired as the game wears on, and that advantage is invaluable for the Blues.
It's always interesting, the way the umpires pick those free kicks out of a ruck contest always astounds me.
We've been saying that for years, Justin.
I'm glad you said that. It has just confounded everyone. Gaspar, desperate, across the full-back line. 2 kicks off the ground.
For race, Gaspar, Whitnell, Rogers. Rogers goes for the boundary line, nearly found Manton instead, but it will be thrown in on centre wing. 12-6 to 6-7. Third quarter here at Optus Oval. Halfway through the third quarter, and don't forget league teams, of course, previewing the first week of the finals on Thursday. Allen up high and over the back. A stalemate develops. Umpire Dennis Rich will ball it up. A couple of awkward bounces earlier.
Ratton continues to accumulate, 16 and 6.
He's been excellent, hasn't he? Camporelli 10. Michael Gale, Richmond's leading kick getter, he has 11 this afternoon. Moore with Hannah. Bond, only for his third kick, but he's kept Bradley to 5. Silvani overruns it, then sees the ball isn't going to cross the boundary line. And the umpire says there was a trip, and there will be a free kick. Very close to the line.
Pushing the back.
He's done well, the umpire, to spot that, because I would never have spotted that, but very touch and go.
Dean's kick, Bowden from behind, punches. A little too wide for McKay to gather, and to throw in 65 metres out from the Richmond goal. Number 11 there, Bowden. Terrific youngster, great talents. Some pretty good stock. Harrison Slug. Well comes out to Dean.
Hickmott's played well.
He has. So is DiUlio, but the ball's still pretty greasy. Now he was grabbed there by Moore. Did he have it? Miranda from Rice. Miranda did well to get a kick in, and what a kick it was. Gale! Oh, too severe for Richardson. The bomb at the day. One behind.
Well, there you go, don't you? You know, when you're struggling, when your confidence is down, everything can go against you. You know, they could probably kick themselves on that occasion.
What about Ronnie Diulio? Does his mind go quicker than his body?
It almost looks like that on occasion. He does love a bounce, though. Give him a couple of yards, he loves a bounce.
Well, Hannah to come off, he's bleeding quite profusely from, looks like a whack in the nose, whack in the mouth.
That's for sure. I think his profile's not going to improve from that one, I think.
He's been a great player for the Blues, Milhana, and he's been replaced by Jacob Anstey. The umpire will wait for Anstey to get down into the defensive 50-metre area. Russell Morris down on the boundary line.
Yeah, look, a big surprise here. I just noticed that half the Richmond side in these conditions are still wearing moulded soles, and when the rain falling in the ground was very soft regardless of the rain. I cannot believe that, and a lot of them are still slipping over.
Dean Rice marks the kick in and then gets it outside 50. Free kick. It's going to Richmond and taken by Holland. Ben Holland for the Tigers. The play just held up. The umpire, Dennis Rich, indicating to Lance Whitnell where the mark is.
Yeah, it was a lovely nudge there, wasn't it?
78 plays 44.
Always love those hand signals from the players with the ball, you know, directing traffic.
Holland kicks it long. It'll land close to the square. Punched away by Dean. Hogg, tough as old boots. Can't get the hand pass away, though. Still there for the Tigers. Campbell, snapshot across the face of goal. Getting back as Manton. But the ball bundled over for a throw-in about 20 metres around from the Richmond goal. They trail by 36 points to the Tigers.
Daffy off and Broderick back on. Gale and Allen. Camporelli intended for Manton. McKay was there. And so were about 20 others. So the umpire will ball it up. We're past the halfway stage of the third quarter. 8 minutes remaining in the term. Milhana receiving attention from the trainers for that blood nose. Or cut mouth, or both. Gale looking for front posse. Allen beats him to it. McKay. Kick by Manton. Off a step to half back. Ball jarred free in that tackle. Camporelli. Diulio.
Loves a run.
With speed. Kicks to half forward. Looks like Hume in trouble too. Koudafides kicked 3 in the first quarter. Good tackle, Bullis. Still Koudafides with a chance again. Bullis comes at him. Still Bullis, well played, but he's lost it. Hamill, Bradley. Can he get kick number 6? The hand pass effective to Koudafides. Off half a step to half forward. Whitnell couldn't take the mark, but there's a free kick and might be going Richmond's way. Bowden will be the recipient. Now this is what happened to young Hume.
Yeah, I think he's got his own ruckman's knee in the back of the head somewhere.
So play continues on the outer side. Another free kick.
Still plenty of pressure applied by the Richmond players. They're certain to make sure that they're not out of the game, and at the end of the day you might find that Carlton's injuries are going to handicap them in terms of finishing off this game. They've lost a number of players through lacerations and all sorts of injuries, so unless they can do something significant to improve that.
Milhana back on for Hume.
Been knocked around a bit, the Carlton fellas.
They have.
Well, they're definitely too short with Pearce with a knee and Kernahan with a calf or an ankle. Matthew Knight's just the right arm over his shoulder there. Fairly blatant by Andrew McKay. Now he plays on. Kicks in towards the centre of the ground. Gee, it really advantages Prescott and bounces nicely. He'll kick a goal, won't he? Prescott, long. Rice goes back, gets his right hand to it anyway. It was offline. Through for another behind to Richmond, kick by Ashley Prescott. And that injured bench of Carlton's Russell.
Yeah, a bit of a bloodbath down here, Robbo. Look, Darren Hume's got one across his left eye. Milhana had a bloodied nose. Obviously, Stephen Kernahan, I think, won't take any further part for Carlton with a left ankle or calf, not sure. And also Brad Pearce with a suspect knee. So not good times for Carlton, although they're winning the game.
Higbot's kick intercepted by Gale. Gale up towards full forward. Now another free kick. And I didn't see that one.
Well, It was definitely a free kick, but they'll pay one of those at about 1,000, the umpires. He's touched Ben Harrison's arm, and he's paid a free kick for it. In terms of the rules, it's certainly an infringement, but there's 1,000 times a game that they don't call those, and you just wonder if the umpire's not feeling sorry.
Allen in the hands of two trainers on centre wing too. He's staying on the field. Ben Harrison, kick 4 1/4 against Hawthorn. He's got one here. (12-6 to 7-9), so the difference is back to 27 points. The Tigers still not out of it.
And here we go. Allen trying to grab the ball. Big Benny Gale making something of it. Ben Harrison attempting to mark, and he's received a free kick.
Well, Carlton lead this game by 27 points. They led by 22 at half-time. Looks like a pumped-up Brendan Gale up against Matthew Allen. The bounce favours the Carlton player. The ball down now for Derulio. Attempted hack out of there by Bradley. Gathered by Rogers. Rogers' kick lands close to centre-half forward. Punched away by Manton. Silvani puts his body in again. Miranda, Rice, Daffy. Goal, Tigers!
It's the one they needed.
It was 27. It's now 21 points the margin. 1 point better off than they were at half-time.
And of course, Richmond desperately needing more goals here, and you just feel like they've lifted the intensity a bit. The pressure they're applying has worked well. Miranda getting the ball out, giving them an opportunity to score, and not passing it up.
Carlton kicked 7 in the first quarter. They've only added 5 since. They should be a bit happier there in the Richmond box. Jeff Goosen looks as though he's lost $1 and found threepence. 22 points the margin. Again, Richmond out of the centre. Hogg, was he taken high? Not according to the umpire. Camporelli. Oh, Rogers! On the burst, 3's third. Bang! Here come Richmond!
That's the one.
Wow! What a game! The Blues have stopped as if they've been hit across the head with a spade.
Well, Brendan Gale here he's
done well.
Some momentum.
That's right. And that's a fantastic tackle. Fantastic tackle there by Ross Funk.
Richmond player down at midfield.
It was the player who applied the tackle.
That's exactly right. And that's the difference in today's football. And of course, Rogers finishing off well.
Well, it's the player who applied the tackle on Matthew Hogg. A big punch from the centre bounce by Brendan Gale gave the opportunity to Matthew Hogg to gather the ball, which he did do, but he tried to shrug the tackle. He's got a bit of a sore head, Matthew Hogg. He's come off the ground, and this player, it looks like Funky, I'd say. Yeah. Funky, who really locked Matthew Hogg up there.
He did, and a fair clash of heads too, and they're nasty. They're nasty clashes when you get somewhere like a chin hit the top of somebody's head. There's not much flesh to absorb the shock.
Humes back onto the ground.
They normally sting.
And again, it was Campbell which backed up the tackle from Funky on Hogg. Campbell on Camporelli. The ball spilled for Rogers, and Rogers went down the ground and got his third goal. And importantly for the Tigers, their 9th. So it was 22 points at half-time. It is now only 15 points. And the Tigers have certainly fought back. They trailed at one stage in the second term by 7 goals. And he's running around the boundary line. Maybe he can come back on.
That's right. But what we're seeing here is very similar to the last quarter, where Carlton have started well. They've obviously, felt fairly confident, but their concentration's lapsed, and you just can't afford to do that in today's football. One of the handy things for Carlton now is, I suppose, with the stretcher out on the field, it will upset Richmond's intensity and concentration.
Well, what happened, Justin? They put the stretcher to the interchange bench, which is on this side of the ground, and now they've decided that they're going to walk all the way back to what was once known as the Hawthorn stand, which is right across on the other side of the ground. Russell.
Yes, Funky's chin, Peter, it's all been split open, so I think his chin has hit the back of Matthew Hogg's head. So Hogg's got a split head. He's got blood coming down the back of his head. Funky then holding a towel around the bottom of his chin under his mouth. So I think he's opened right up. Very similar to that Christian Barsley incident when Ablett crashed into him down at Kardinia Park. Opened up all around underneath his chin. So he seems to be okay, but I think there must have been a lot of blood. Must be a big gash. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought the stretcher on, of course. So
that's exactly
let's hope he's okay.
When you have another look at this replay.
Yeah, clash of heads. Oh, gee, they're horrendous, those, when they take place. If you're on the receiving end, and it doesn't matter whether you're the tackler or the fellow with the ball, they sting incredibly, and you get an ache right through the bones.
Well, there's some strapping being used here at the Optus Oval at the moment. Get your name on it, and you'll get some free play. 12-6 to 9-9. Brendan Gale still. Bad miss there by Broderick. Still congestion. Who can break away? Brendan Gale over his left shoulder. Richmond mark. Oh, another heavy clash. Let's watch with anxiety the recovery of those two players. The ball at centre forward. Campbell. Snapshot for goal by Wayne Campbell. Goes through from behind.
Diulio is out cold.
A very, very heavy clash at centre half forward. And Ronnie Diulio and Ben Harrison, bang!
The same thing again, clash of heads, and there's probably the worst sort of collision in football is a clash of heads like that. As I said before, there's nothing to absorb the shock other than the grey matter inside, and on some occasions there's not too much of that to absorb.
Well, the training staff really have to mop up Matthew Hogg here. We saw him just a moment ago we're having another look at the clash between these two players, but we saw Matthew Hogg being strapped up around his head like young Darren Hume. There's Harrison, and golly whiz, put your name on the plaster. Can't you get it?
That's exactly right.
Would today.
Hey?
I tell you what, if the Blues make the 8, they won't have a side next week, will they?
It is incredible. Fortunately, it's only Stephen Kernahan that looks as though he may not be able to come back. We saw Pearce running around the boundary line. Matthew Hogg, we saw being strapped up by the training staff. He will probably take the place now of Diulio.
You wonder if Ron Diulio hasn't hurt something else as well as his head. He's struggling off the ground. The trainers have the arms around him. He's walking, but really struggling. It speaks for itself, this one, doesn't it? You can even see the grimace on the players' faces as they come off that.
Harrison came off better.
Sometimes I'm glad not to be playing footy, that's for sure. Occasions like that.
4.5 minutes left in the third quarter, and boy, the busiest spots have been on the bench. Harrison a chance with Ratton, the ball flipped out the front of the pack. Manton and Knights still Manton over the boundary line. No collisions. What's happening?
Well, it's amazing scenes down here, Peter. Look, Ronnie Diulio, they're checking for concussion. He's got a bloodied nose. So obviously that's the walking wounded from Carlton. Don't forget Aaron Hamill's on the ground with a suspected AC joint. So any more for Carlton will be under a lot of pressure.
Gale, Camporelli, Hickmott.
I think Ron Diulio might have copped it right across the side of his face in that last collision. His eye didn't look too good either in that last shot.
Rogers, Holland. I tell you what, Richmond are going to win this match, I reckon. Broderick, Powell, directly in front.
Blues look a little rattled, which is fair enough. They've got players on the bench injured and players on the ground with strapping over around the top of their heads, but don't quite know who they're picking up, do they?
Well, that's exactly right, and that's all it takes. We see there Broderick kicking the Powell, and they look all right, Richmond, at the moment.
The 8 points the difference if he kicks it. He's done it. The goal. If it carries, it has.
Got there.
8 points is the difference. 12-6 to 10-10, 3.5 minutes left, and the way the Tigers are rolling, they could be in front before the quarter's out.
Parker, what the siren to sound, I tell you.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like it might be a war of attrition here. Whoever is left standing at the end of the game will be the ones winning, and I think Richmond are looking good at the moment.
Beautiful little kick by Broderick to set it up for Powell, and an excellent kick from about 50 metres by Robert Powell. 12-6 plays 10-10. So the margin is 8 points. Richmond continue to get the forward knock from the centre bouncers. Bradley's kick lands at half forward. Gathered by Ratton. And kicked forward by Bradley into the pocket, over, and a throw-in will take place.
And I think at this stage of the game, Carlton would like to see the ball hit the boundary more often. It just gives them a chance to settle and find some composure before the end of the quarter. So they certainly need to just steady down at this stage.
Russell, there wouldn't be enough words in your vocab to describe the interchange benches, would there?
No, it's unbelievable. Look, Brad Pearce has got a wonky left knee and he's desperately trying to regain some sort of fitness, or at least trying to get some rhythm going in his knee. Must be very stiff. He's had ice on it, so if they desperately need someone, he's probably the man to come on.
Stephen Kernahan anxiously watching on. 8 points the margin. The on-field skipper, Bradley, towards full forward. Bullis kicks it away, so Richmond standing tall. The kick will probably favour Matthew Knights. Little kick down the ground, gathered by Holland. If they get another goal here, listen to the shout. Silvani and Richardson, gathered by Miranda. He's held, and he's going to get the free kick. Don't quite know how he got rid of the ball. He's going to play on, shoot for goal, and it'll be marked by Hogg.
Is it Hogg? It is Hogg. It's hard to tell which bloke's got which bandage on at this stage, isn't it?
Well, you've got a 50-50 chance it'll be either him or Darren Hughes. Matthew Hogg from the right back pocket kicks it outside 50. Porter throws his left foot at it. Chance here for the Blues. And a free kick against Bond. He's not happy. No, and I don't blame him. I didn't see much in that.
Well, he's played close all day, but I think you've got to give the benefit of the doubt when you play that close. And Bradley hasn't performed up to normal expectations, I suppose. And Bond's been fairly good in that regard. He's kept right on Bradley.
Bradley's kick will land and bounce. Anstey falls over. Critical. Callaway couldn't get rid of it. Still Kudafiti's fighting hard for the Blues, and applause from both groups of supporters, you would think, because both teams are putting on a fantastic performance. Not a big scoring game, 12 goals to 10. Carlton lead by 8 points, and that in the square box at the top there is a look at the bench for the Blues. Knights knocks it on for the favour of Rogers. Rogers' kick, Manton couldn't take the mark. Harrison tries to get rid of it. Still play on. Hume out into the open. Jacob Anstey on the end of it. Michael Gale. Anstey couldn't control the footy.
Yes, and you'll notice that the Richmond players are the ones with the pink headgear and the Carlton players are the ones with the white headgear at the moment.
It's a boundary throw in on centre wing. Last minute and a half of the third quarter. As much action off the field as on it. Gale, he's been fantastic. Benny Gale's kicked to half forward. Missed by Dean, Hannah, Silvani. Blues with their backs to the wall at the moment.
Hit the boundary. Hit the boundary. And he has.
A bit early for that.
Who said that?
It's an old one. That's an old one, that one. Hit the boundary, and he has nowhere to go.
Williamson, Butch Gale and the late Kedwick. One of the grand finals of the 60s, I think, Judge.
66.
That's it.
St Kilda's year. Will it be again? Mightn't be Carlton's year. Well, it won't be if they can't get past today. Underneath Gale is the football, but Broderick looking at the umpire, he says it'll be a ball up, gentlemen, not a free kick. So 8 points is the margin. It was 28 at quarter time, 22 at half time.
Well,
in favour of
another
Carlton.
blood rule.
Another blood rule.
Who's coming off?
What's he got this time? It's a few noses. It'll need fixing this week.
Pearce has got to come back on now.
Doesn't give him any alternatives.
Parko himself might have to put the boots on.
If you're Richmond, you'd be very happy at this stage seeing Brad Pearce hobble onto the ground in that condition. I'm not sure about his knee. I think he's had a bad knee for the last 12 months, so it might be that knee playing up again. It's going to make it pretty hard.
Well, they'll be after more interchange players for the finals, won't they? Anstey got it over to Camporelli. Camporelli's quick kick to half forward. The Blues really need a goal. Whitnall, can he give it to them? Oh, well played. Still Whitnall from 50 metres. Bangs it home. That's a great kick. Just what the doctor ordered, literally.
And I think importantly for that young fella too, John.
Absolutely. He's been quiet today and he really needed that one.
Got a lot of ability though.
He's got some fantastic ability. He really has got speed, strength, and he reads the ball particularly well. Great hands there by Porter. And of course here you'll see Whitnall just struggling at the ball, taps it back, thinking he'll hit it to the Carlton player, but he actually gets it again himself, and his turn of pace allows him to straighten up and get his boot to the ball.
Well, I think importantly, just in the career of that young man, that kick could turn in a corner for him.
That's right. Great timing.
14 points now and seconds left in the third term. Broderick shrugs the tackle. Down towards half forward. Chance for Richmond. It's got to bounce in their favour. Manton on Harrison. In goes Ratton and locks it up. Temporarily, though, it's still there for the Tigers. Camporelli back in the area of Silvani. In turn to Dean. And maybe the siren will sound. It does as Hickmott marks. And just when the Tigers were making the challenge that could have just taken them to a victory here at Optus Oval, the Blues answered with a goal through Lance Whitnell. Ron Gouldio, a heavy clash with Ben Harrison on the bench at this stage. It is a terrible sight for the Blues. Kernahan trying to stretch out whatever his injury is. It doesn't look too good. Matthew Holt with bandages all over his head. It's a sorry sight for the Blues supporters.
It is, absolutely. What about Benny Harrison's bandaging there? That's a beautiful job, that one, isn't it? Straighten his jaw, that one.
Well, I think we're in for a titanic last quarter. Mill Hanna, of course, was also on the bench for the Blood Roar during that quarter. 14 points is the margin. Richmond coming home like a train, but Carlton still leading 13-6 to 10-10. Crowd are trying to lift Carlton, and so is the ground announcer.
Richmond interchange. Looks like 3 fit players. All 3 on the interchange for the Blues are in a bit of trouble.
Will it be Carlton's last quarter for the year? Fremantle look out of it at the MCG. The Blues have their own problems here. Ratton, who's been absolutely brilliant. That's kick number 18 up towards full forward. Koutafidis couldn't take it. Hamill's there, loses out to Gasper. Knights. Oh, great tackle. Hamill. Fantastic. Gasper.
Got him again.
Yes. Terrific tackle. He gets away. Bowden. Rogers. Knights. Prescott. Prescott at left centre wing. Richmond get the first goal. Anything could happen. Silvani on Richardson. Manton turns on a Thrupney bit. Hogg. Oh, again. Dear, oh dear.
It's probably the other side too, is it? That's
50 metres.
I tell you what, he's a tough little nut, but by golly, have they tried him out here.
Absolutely.
Well, about 14 trainers have come out to him. Obviously,
fortunately, no blood, Pete.
No.
Well, I think he already had the bandage over it, so I think he's all right.
He's seeing stars. That was pretty solid. Campbell really did cop him. It's not about 50 metres either. He's down at half forward, still too far out to score. And well, if you look closely at this, you'll see.
Yeah. That was to the front, as opposed to the previous one, which was to the rear.
So Matty Hogg got a goal in the first quarter. That's not a bad sort of a ruse. Aaron lost sight of it. Bowden couldn't pick it up. Flipped out the Gasper. Gasper in the square, clears for the Tigers.
Does reasonably well, but reading it nicely was Camporelli. With pace, gets around onto his right foot, kicks for goal, hooks the kick. Does he register a score? He does. A behind, and it may be important in the final analysis. 1 goal, 1 to Scott Camporelli. Kicked a long goal in the third quarter. Matthew Knights now coming off the ground is Wayne Campbell. Well, being replaced by Moore. Knocked back to half forward. Ratton gathers. Porter for his third goal. Can't get the distance. Andrew McKay chipping in as Bullis. Matthew Knight still trying to lead hard. Gasper's hand pass not quite good enough. Hickmott locked up. Ball spills for Knight. Still there. Callaway pushed off the ball by Ratton. Still Callaway. And a terrific contest. There are 30,000 people packed in here, and they are loving every minute of this.
Absolutely, and they're not letting up on the intensity at all. These fellas we're well and truly into the last quarter, and they're very keen to maintain the strength and intensity.
Great credit to Richmond. They've got really nothing to fight for except the pride of the Tiger, and they are really having a good go at this game. The free kick is to Gasper. Richmond trail by 15 points early in the last term.
Gasper, kick number 7 for a high tackle. Dean in front. Couldn't take the mark. Now Broderick. Long looping hand pass to Knights. Richmond certainly looked the fitter. Can they finish the better? Knights Another bounce to left half forward. The skipper's kick is long. He'll be looking for Richardson at the back of Silvani. In the front, Benny Gale! Well, they had the two-pronged attack there, didn't they?
Yes, he's marked strongly today, Benny. He's really given them some options. He's been good in the ruck, and when he's got down that forward line, he's really taken the pressure off Richardson by actually taking marks himself. So that's a beautiful mark there. Position himself running backwards to take it.
Point blank range, 25 metres out when he takes the kick. 9 points would be the difference if he can kick it. Campbell comes back on. That's a goal.
And that's what you need.
Gale gets his second, and Richmond 11-10, trailing Carlton 13-7.
Great play by Broderick there, spotting Matthew Knights.
Knight spots this well. Puts the forward line under pressure often when you have 2 or 3 bounces, but often if you go that extra one, it can create space, and he takes the ball under a lot of pressure.
Just be careful there, Wayne Campbell. Someone who's going to give a free kick away. It was quite obvious. Campbell and Hogg were at each other. Hogg went at him, and the retaliator has been caught. Campbell's kick has been well marked by Manton. 9 points is the margin. Manton's kick marked by Porter. Look out, you're in strife here. Scott Camporelli gets around onto his right and then kicks into the centre. Good kick from 40 metres. And Andrew McKay nearly dropped the chest mark. Ratton out very, very wide. Good effort there by Dean on Knights. Knights able to recover though. Hand pass Broderick. In turn Michael Gale. Out wide Robert Powell. One-hander. Beautifully done. 9 points the margin in favour of the Blues. And Powell has it deep on the wing.
Powell goes for distance. Huge pack of players in there. Bond tries to barge his way through the pack. All tied up. Done a terrific job today on Bradley. Bond's only had 3 kicks himself, but he restricted Bradley, who's only had 9. He didn't get his first kick battles until about the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. So bounce left half forward for Richmond. Gale and Porter. Hume overruns it. One of the well, it's on the full. Well, not much going right for Carlton at the moment.
Harris Carlton's free kick
going to Carlton.
You just get the impression, though, that Richmond are able to maintain this intensity. They may well, carry the game off.
Well, Whitnell.
Carlton was struggling a bit in that regard.
McKay, Knights. Out it comes the back of the pack. Bradley got a little nudge in the back.
Matthew Knights has been terrific.
Knights from Bowden. Harrison punches against his old side today. Be very keen to take the points. It's out of bounds between wing and left half forward for Richmond. Carlton leading at the moment 85-76. But they kicked 7 of their goals in the first quarter, and Richmond have slowly pegged them back. Manton, still one of their fit players. Hogg across Campbell. No love lost between that pair. Rogers punches to the front. Hickmott. Hogg cops another one. Up to half forward. Pearce, who's on one leg. Prescott, a little hand pass, and Kellaway gets it back to midfield. Campbell, Hogg's got him. That's a great tackle, Matty Hogg. Fantastic stuff, but it comes to Bond.
Bond's kick is all right, and it's out there for Rogers. Still 9 points, but Richmond going forward. Knocked away by Rice from Miranda, gathered by Powell. Silvani and Richardson punched away by Silvani for a boundary throw-in about 4 metres around from the behind post, deep in Richmond's full forward area.
There's no letting up on this intensity, and it makes you glad sometimes that you're not playing league football.
Matthew Richardson still goalless. Porter and Holland hacked out of there by Dean, gathered by Hogg. Ball spills. Broderick off the ground. Mark taken by Rice from behind Miranda.
Gee, Hogg's been fantastic. He's got every reason really to lay down and die, I suppose, with so many knocks to the head, but he's really having a dip.
Matthew Knight's terrific again. To Ben Harrison, to the goal square. Mark taken by Hannah, only centimetres inside the line. Out wide he goes to Hume. It's important that this young boy keeps possession of the football, doesn't do anything silly. Little kick, he's given it up. No, he hasn't. Great clash again by Michael Gale, and his opponent on that occasion might have been Hickmott. Whitnell does well to hold it at his feet. Still across the Blues half-forward line, and a real crunch of plays. It was Adrian Hickmott, and he looks okay. And for Carlton stakes, it's important that he stands up because they have 3 players in trouble on the bench.
I think it ended up being more his knee than his head. It looked like it might have been Hickmott's head in the first place, but I think it was more a twist of the knee.
Camporelli off the ground. Knock it forward, Jacob Anstey. Pearce tried to get it, but it was Campbell. It comes back. Still the chance for Hogg. Still the chance for Campbell. It's a great contest, this game of football. Ratton to Porter. Porter from pretty well a standing start. Kicks to the full forward area. Trying to hack it out of there was Bullis. Camporelli has missed. 1 goal, 2. That would have done Maradona proud if that had gone through.
Yes, certainly.
Look at Jeff Geeshan and Ross Lyon and all the Richmond boys. The goal umpire just coming out to check that it is all clear, and it will be a behind to the Blues. Scott Camporelli nearly manufactured a miracle goal there, and the margin is 10 points in favour of the Blues.
Capacity House certainly getting their money's worth today. Knights goes to the outer side again after he kicks to himself.
He's done that on a number of occasions today, Knights.
Gale in front, Koutafidis. Want to get more out of him now. Crowd looking for holding the ball. Umpire says no, boys, keep going. Broderick, good little gift to Knights. McKay nearly, Ratton across him. Porter, Camporelli, too severe the tap on. Prescott off the ground up towards the hard midfield. Bowden, oh, great tackle. Whitnell holding the footy. No, says the umpire.
Advantage with the Blues.
Anstey started on the bench. Make a hero for yourself, son. Kick long. He does up to half forward. Oh, Kellaway, great mark. Kellaway to Michael Gale. Richmond at right half back. Gale back into the side today, playing well. His kick to half forward, and Richardson still goalless. Takes the mark, but too far out. You'd reckon from there. Centering kick from Richo. Oh, Bowden, big leap. Couldn't complete it. And Rice comes in to tie it up. Umpire Dennis Rich will ball it up.
Well, Benny Harrison made some good ground there, and I think that centred kick was looking for Benny Harrison, but he just wasn't able to get there at time.
It was a big leap by Joel Bowden. He really got it too.
20 players around the ball, maybe more. Bowden, not Bowden, it was Campbell up high. Now it's Dean's turn. Good shepherd by Hogg.
He's been solid today, Peter Dean.
He has, the veteran, the old warhorse. More bandages than Farham. Gale again. Anstey's got him. Gale looks for a free kick. There's none there according to the umpire. It will be a balled up.
Do you know, during the week there was quite a few decisions made by the tribunal. There was a lot of doubt about whether we were playing basketball or glorified basketball. Do you reckon there's any blokes out there, Justin, that reckon they're playing basketball?
I think there'd be a few blokes looking for endorsements from the bandage companies.
I'd say so. Russell down on the boundary line.
Mate, the atmosphere down here is absolutely electric. I'm in front of the Carlton Social Club, Robbo, and it's just wild stuff, so it's a sensational match, as you've been calling.
Pearce has taken the mark. He's limping. What can he come up with here?
He likes these. He's about the right distance for Pearcey, and if his leg stands up all right, he's a good chance to kick this one. But he's done well. He's done well, particularly with that gammy leg, to get out there in front to take the chest mark.
Goatee Beard's back in at Carlton. He's growing one, and I think I saw Mill Hanna was one as well. Let's see the kick. Oh, gee, that's close, but not close enough. One behind. Goal would have been.
Justin, do you ever feel in a situation like this that a behind is any better, maybe, to keep it down there to the ground?
Can well be at this stage of the game. You know, it just means that the team have to refocus and they have to really concentrate, particularly in the wet weather as well. I mean, wet weather football, you've got to play for percentages, I suppose, and that's what points can help with.
Back towards the centre of the ground. Campbell running onto it. It is 11 points in favour of the Blues. Contest again between Richardson and Silvani. Ball spills to the back to Dean. Campbell run down by McKay. Still Andrew McKay. And the umpire is letting things run. A boundary throw-in will take place. McKay, not always a big possession gatherer, but a wonderful contributor for the Blues over many years now. 9.5 minutes left. Richmond need to kick 2 goals. Ball to McKay. Brilliant handling there by Hume. Throws it onto his boot quickly. 2 half forward. Gathered there is by Bullis. Gets it away to Tawney. Tawney streams away. He's a fit player. Geeshan is using his bench towards half forward. It spills to Powell. Powell does well to get past Dean. Hooks the kick towards centre half forward. Marking contest. Bowden! No! Yes, it has been paid. It certainly was. A great grip of the football by Joel Bowden.
You just get the feeling that if he gets this goal, it'll turn the game. And that's a very solid mark, very strong mark against 2 Carlton players. He really has made great position.
Well, he made a magnificent leap a few minutes ago at centre half forward, not able to hang on to it. You can see the rain coming down now quite steadily. If Joel Bowden kicks this goal, there's only a kick in it. And the Blues just fighting for their survival. As far as the finals are concerned, of course, if they win, they have to wait for the match between Port Adelaide and St Kilda. Bowden kicks the goal. It's a 5-point margin.
Two goals to Bowden. They trailed by 28 points at quarter time, the Tigers, but they're certainly finishing the better.
And of course, Richmond centering the ball, actually going out to the flank on this occasion, but it comes back into the centre and taking a very strong mark.
Richmond haven't beaten Carlton here since June the 4th, 1977. Bartlett, Roach, Hart, etc. were in the side that day. Edwards kicked 4 goals and McKenna got 3 for Carlton. The Blues a chance. Gasper's in the road. Broderick the target and marks. Broderick left centre wing. A goal here would put them in front.
They're looking good, the Tigers.
Holland, 55 metres out, centering kick. Rogers on his own.
Well, you just get the impression that Carlton are tiring. In the last stages of this game, they just can't maintain the intensity, and that's fairly obvious when you look at the number of injured players.
Rogers has kicked 3.
And that's a great kick. Spotted him well, in the clear. And no problems to mark that one.
And you wouldn't think problems with distance. He'll be kicking from about 45 metres. Slightly off target.
Oh. Well, that was the one that Richmond needed.
A collective sigh around the ground.
Anxious faces in the crowd too.
Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of people realise that Richmond need every bit of luck going their way at this stage.
Bill Hanna started on the bench, kicked a goal with his first kick today, replacing Sexton. Hanna to centre wing, Rice the target. He'll get him eventually. Hickmott to half forward, which is pretty open at the moment. Michael Gale slams it back right into the arms of Koutoufides. Needs to bounce. Will it bounce through? It does, but only for one behind. 4 goals for to Anthony Koutoufides. 3 of those majors in the first quarter. He kicked 1 goal in the second, but goal was after half-time. Campbell.
He should have kicked that. He was in the clear, and the goal was unattended. Michael Gale shares it with Rogers. Rogers, of course, maybe Richmond fans could have thought that he should have kicked his goal. Ben Holland from in front of Koutoufides. Maybe a bit of discipline there. He should have punched from behind. Into Rogers. Still 5 points the margin. Rogers to a disputable position at half forward. Richardson, Silvani and Ben Harrison. Ben Harrison's caught with the ball. Still there from the Tigers. Ben Moore into the pocket. Darren Hume and Silvani. Silvani gets past his caught with the ball. He's caught with the footy. Oh, dear me. Richmond fans will go absolutely ape over that decision. Matthew Richardson is irate.
What about the other one?
Well, gee.
Oh, dear.
If ever Silvani had the umpires on his side, I think it was this occasion.
How many chances do you get to get rid of the ball? Ben Moore on Darren Hume is a free kick. Oh, boos and boos and boos from the Tiger fans. But the footy with Darren Hume. He's in the right back pocket. He kicks it long, temporarily out of the danger zone. The ball spills for McKay. He overruns it. In goes Gaspar. Finds some space. Handball over the top to Tawney. Tawney towards full forward. Marking contest back here. Good disciplined punch by Hannah. Oh, a crunch on Rice. And the umpire still swallows his whistle, or he hasn't regurgitated it just yet because he swallowed it when Silvani was not penalised in front of the square a minute ago. Oh, Dean Rice looks up.
Oh, and another head clash.
No blood that time, luckily.
We should be taking stats on the head clashes, I think.
Been a few. Harrison tries to go off the ground. Campbell does, and I think he's put it through for a behind. So that makes the difference. 4 points. Second behind of the day to Wayne Campbell. 13-10 to 12-12. Steve Silvani trying to take a few deep breaths to concentrate. Looks as though Funky may be coming back. He's warming up on the bench. Silvani to the outer side. Dean the target. Couldn't complete it. Holland. Silvani punches. Broderick. A little give. Knights. Harrison. Goes at goal. And Richmond have hit the front for the first time. The Tigers by 2 points.
Well, some fantastic work here.
Broderick and Knights. Broderick 20 possession, Knights 25. Gee, they've been great midfielders. So the Richmond fans, they've been here all day, but by gee, they've jumped to their toes and their feet here. Ratton takes it away, kicks it to within scoring distance for the Blues. It spills to the front. Pearce, Koutafidis, but look at the little tough Tiger. Duncan Callaway's got the footy and he's not going to let it go.
At these stages of a game, it's often far easier for a team like Richmond. You're on a roll, there's intensity there, your confidence is up. Whereas for Carlton, they've been ahead all day and now they know that the time's limited.
Well, they kicked 7 goals to 2 in the first quarter. So since then, Richmond have kicked 11 to Carlton's 6. Kicked away only as far as Whitnall. Top stuff Bullis. Again to a winnable position between Bond and Bradley. And Bond prepared to take it over. 4 minutes left. The Blues need an accurate kick. They trail by 2 behinds. They must kick a goal if they're to win this game. The advantage is with the Tiger.
Well, the other alternative is a draw if they can get 2 behind. That'd throw it wide open, wouldn't it? Koutafidis been quiet since the first term. Whitnall, Gaspar, McKay. McKay's got it. Koutafidis. Go Kouta, they're saying here. Kouta, 50 and closing. Will it bounce through? No, touch through the line by Prescott. It's 1 point the difference.
You may well be right about that draw, Peter. That draw is very much a possibility.
Well, it could be now, Harry. A little lunge there by Ashley Prescott. Came off the bench today. Campbell to bring it in under 4 minutes remaining in this thriller. Good old-fashioned inter-club footy here. Carlton and Richmond, long-time rivals of the VFL and now in the AFL. And the crowd today getting its money's worth. Callaway again from Ratton's kick. Bradley caught out of position. No mark taken. Bradley looks for holding the ball. Tawney's in there. And it's going to be a ball up. Ratton gets himself off the turf. So too does Bond. Did a fantastic job on Bradley. Only got 4 kicks himself, but he's restricted Bradley to 9. Bradley didn't get 1 in the first quarter. Carlton need a goal. Whitnall on Gaspar. Tawney. Been good.
Yep.
Gale at half back. And the Richmond crowd rise to their feet again. Gale's got a panic to move in. Kicks up towards right half forward. Richardson nearly couldn't take it. Soccer work from Hogg. Over the top of Richardson. Silvani comes in right across his body. Kicks to half forward.
Contest here, but there's none because Tawney has had 4, maybe 5 possessions that have been important to the Tigers in this last quarter across halfback. A fit player. No mark across the halfback line to Rice. Gathered by Allen. He's caught. He's very, very well caught by Robert Powell, and the ball spills over for a throw-in. Richmond lead by a point. Just under 3 minutes left.
And they look good, the Richmond players. They're playing in front at every opportunity, and I think that will be the difference. That will be the difference in these last few minutes. The team that can play in front, make the most of the opportunities.
Some very tired players. Bradley kicks it into the middle of the ground. Rogers, not really advantaged there. Hand pass to Brendan Gale. Off his left foot, kicks it out wide. The Blues have got the advantage here. Dean runs down to support Manton. Confusion. Dean runs away from half-back. Peter Dean kicks in the area of Hickmott. He's taken the mark. He's too far out to score. He kicks. He'll put Richmond in danger zone now. Confusion there by Callaway. Knocked to the front, Jacob Anstey. He's dragged off the footy. The umpire won't give any free kicks. Michael Gale out. Kudafudi's looking for the free kick. It's not forthcoming. It will be a boundary throw-in.
They've got to get a goal here, Robbo.
Most definitely have to kick a goal.
David Parkin, well, will it be his last game as coach of the Blues if they lose today? Gasper. That'll be a good kick for Richmond. It's out of bounds. Bond not really too interested in chasing after that. He knew it was to the advantage of the side. 2 minutes remaining. Geeshan, Tony Jewell, and Jeff Geeshan, you'd reckon itself the job here today for next year if Richmond can pinch this. Benny Gale been fantastic. Gains 35 metres. Good punch. Gets it to centre wing. Another throw in.
He's done well, Benny, and he's doing well now. He's just looking to hit the ball towards the boundary, and that can dent the confidence of a team like Carlton in the desperate stages of a game like this.
Allen goes against him. Gale gets front position. And this is suiting Richmond as the clock continues to tick down. 1 minute 40 left in this game. Still plenty of time, of course, for Carlton to get a goal, but sides are able to close it up, and Richmond are doing that at the moment.
Well, Richmond...
Roderick, what a run! A goal here would stitch it right up. And the mark is there. Ross Funky at half forward. 40 metres out directly in front. What a run. Roderick, 11 and 10 today.
Well, that's happened on a number of occasions today where running into the forward line, Richmond have just popped it in the centre half forward there to a player just sort of hanging back a bit, able to take the ball without any contest at all. It's the third or fourth time.
Well, Carlton fans next to us have tossed in the towel. They're leaving. They reckon he must be a good kick. No, he's missed it. So it's not over yet, folks.
Certainly,
it's not over yet.
Certainly not over till the fat lady sings on a day like today.
Well, 2 points, and it's deep in the Richmond full forward area with Stephen Silvani to kick in. You would think if the Blues are to snatch it, it's going to be difficult because they just have to have clean possession down the ground, you would think, to get a goal. Silvani goes straight down the middle. Long kick, lands in the centre. All important possession here. Gathered by Holland, tackled by Camporelli. Umpire will bounce.
Well, they've done well in the last stages of this game, Richmond. They've just decided to hold the ball at every contest, and it's worked well. It's taken the edge out of the Carlton players.
Stephen Kernahan, an anxious onlooker. Benny Holland, Camporelli to Rice. Important possession here. Out in front there of Pearce, and he's taken a good mark. Must play on quickly.
Let it go.
Down to 30 seconds. Play on, says the umpire. Shepherd, Jacob Anstey. Pearce, who's going to mark this? Whitnell, no. Disputed decision here at half forward. Hacked out of there by Camporelli. Gathered by Hamill. Oh, terrific stuff by Matthew Hogg. Umpire won't pay a free kick. Richmond will win the game, folks. There's only seconds left. And Carlton couldn't possibly get a goal out of this. The umpire will bounce it, and you would reckon that the siren will sound as soon as players touch the ball. Down it goes, up goes the ruckman, and well done, Tigers!
Good night, Blues. Geeshan does it again. The Tigers, 3 out of the last 4. Another thriller. And they've come home to get the bacon again. 28 points behind at quarter time. Who would have guessed it? Carlton's injury certainly didn't help, but great fighting spirit by Richmond. and put Carlton out of the premiership race for 1997. Let's go down to Russell Morris.
Joel Bowden, obviously you can't make the finals, but how does that feel?
Oh, magnificent, especially going into the next pre-season. We really needed it today, and to come back from 5 goals behind, especially at the start, it's just a great effort by all the boys.
A lot of turmoil for the club during the year, the second year to coach, Justin Charles incident during the week. How did you get up today?
Well, Geesh is very good, I think, for every one of the boys. Before the game, he gets us in the room and he motivates us in his way. I mean, it's just superb, and he's done a great job, I think.
But you missed a lot of footy this year with a crook shoulder.
Yeah.
How did you feel about your form in the last few weeks?
Well, I missed 8 weeks, 11 weeks and 8 games altogether. But just to come back into the senior team and actually contribute, you know, week in, week out, by just even if it's just 1 goal or setting up a goal, I'm happy with that.
Oh, magnificent effort. Just soak it up. All the boys were all together. So you run across the cheer squad. Well
Thanks,
done.
Russell. See you later.
Well, you'd think that Richmond had won the flag or won a place in the finals. Of course, they can't make it, but I think there might be a few clubs just breathing a sigh of relief that they aren't in the final.
Well, that was a passionate performance, wasn't it? By both sides, but gee whiz, Richmond, they were 7 goals behind in the second quarter, Peter.
Yeah.
And the Blues were playing terrific footy. But to their credit, they showed a lot of character.
Oh, they showed an enormous amount of character today, and I think, you know, if there's anything that will give them confidence going into next year, it's not so much the on-field performance or the win, but in fact the character and the spirit of the players have displayed today. And likewise, I suppose for Carlton, you know, they really have to have a good look at the team structure, and you know, I'm glad I'm out of the place.
Well, you like the 8 ball at 3/4 time. I think you mentioned that, you know, with those injuries, if the opposition, I watched the Richmond boys trot off at 3/4 time, and there were 3 fit interchange players, as distinct to the Blues, which their 3 players were all in a bit of strife.
Well, that's right. And when you come into the huddle at 3/4 time and you have a good look, and a couple of blokes who've got bandaged heads, and you know, a couple of fellas have got crooked legs or crooked knees, it's very hard to feel confident when a team has finished the quarter well.
Okay, well, Richmond continue their celebrations. Another come from behind victory, and a thriller here at Optus Oval. We'll take a break. Back in a moment.